Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sid, and in today's video I am going to be talking about the MTV personality Jenelle Evans. She was first introduced to the world on the show 16 and Pregnant, and then later on Teen Mum 2. And as you may know, I've made another video on Teen Mum star Farrah Abraham, who hasn't had the best track record when it comes to pets. But Jenelle Evans is someone with an even worse track record. People have requested this video for the longest time, but I have always put it off because there is so much to get into. She was constantly in the headlines for animal-related issues. Her treatment of animals in an episode of Teen Mum 2 caused MTV to put a notice on the screen.
Since this incident, Jenelle has worked hard to take better care of their dogs and to be a loving and responsible pet owner. To hear more from Jenelle, go to act.mtv.com.
And she was even fired from the Teen Mum franchise in 2019 for 5 years because of something that happened to one of her dogs. I want to start off by talking about one of her first dogs, which was a pit bull named Brody. She got him in 2012, a year after starting the Teen Mum 2 series. She seemed to really like this dog, and he even got along with a cat she had named Sky. But Brody inadvertently caused some issues in her personal life. She was, of course, a teen mum, but her mother had custody of her child. And because of Brody being a pit bull, apparently her mother, Barb, prevented her from seeing her son. Barb did come around and allow Jenelle to see her son with Brody present. While Janelle's mother was okay with it, some of Janelle's followers had an issue with her owning him. It had nothing to do with his breed, but the way that she treated him. One of the bigger issues was her use of a heavy chain around his neck. People on social media were strongly against the use of this chain. One person said, "He's a dog, not a tractor. Take the chain off." Another said, "You're ignorant because you think making him look mean is cool." Jenelle insisted that she wasn't using the chain to make him look cool, but it was to help him build muscle. She never divulged what the purpose of him building muscle was, but I guess he didn't end up serving a purpose at all for her, because less than 2 years after getting him, she replaced him with a pit bull that looked almost identical to him, that she named Jax, and she ended up giving him to a friend of hers named Ryan. Since they were friends, Brody did remain in her life in some capacity, because they would meet up and hang out together with their dogs. And it was definitely for the best that Brody ended up with Ryan. He seems to live a very happy life without a chain collar, and last year Ryan's family celebrated Brody's 12th birthday on social media. So it's good that at least Brody got a happy ending. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for many of her other animals, which I will be getting into after this quick break, because I first want to thank today's sponsor, Babbel. Babbel was the world's first language learning app, and there's a reason why it's been around as long as it has. It is scientifically proven to help you start speaking a new language in just 3 weeks. It has language learning lessons to prepare you for practical conversations in travel, business, relationships, and more. It guides learners toward real-life conversations in their target language, and one of the best ways to do that is by having actual conversations using the app's conversation practice feature. You will have an AI conversation partner which offers dozens of scenarios inspired from the real world and caters to different needs and learning styles. And that is the sort of thing that everyone learning a new language needs, because learning the words is one thing, but using them in a conversation is a whole other story.
¿Qué haces en España?
Aprendo español. So having a feature that enables freer self-expression through AI-powered dialogues is very beneficial. Click on my link or scan the QR code to get 60% off your Babbel subscription. And leave a comment on this video about what language you would like to learn. And once again, thank you to Babbel for sponsoring this video. It really helps me and the channel out. Anyway, so back to the video. Jenelle went through a whole bunch of other pets that didn't stick around nearly as long as Brody did, and it is not surprising. On Teen Mum 2, she seemed to be all over the place. She'd be living with her mother one moment, then living with her friend, then living with one of her many boyfriends, then going to court for one reason or another, then would get evicted and move somewhere else. And I'm not here to judge her for any of that, but it just goes to show how unstable her life was. But that did not stop her from getting so many animals. In 2011, she got a German Shepherd named Callie that she got rid of shortly after. Also in 2011, she got a Chihuahua named Michaela. In a social media post, she said that she's annoying and wants to get rid of her bad. She did get rid of her, and in 2013, she decided to give Chihuahuas another go and got one named Maximus, who she also got rid of as well. In 2012, she got a bearded dragon named Yoshi, which her mother later took ownership of. It was at her mother's house where the bearded dragon died because she turned off the heat lamp. There was also a bunch of unnamed animals that could be seen in episodes of Teen Mum, like this puppy and this tank with frogs in it. But throughout all of that, she did manage to keep one dog, the pit bull named Jax. He seemingly got along with Jenelle's other temporary pets, maybe because he knew that if he played up, he'd end up being crated. He also appeared to have some sort of a tail injury. A lot of viewers believed the tail was broken, but Jenelle said on social media that it's not broken. She also said that his tail had been that way since she bought him as a baby. She suggested that the reason his tail got that way was because he played around with his mum and dad as a puppy. And she also said that she was going to get his tail cut off, but she surprisingly felt bad about doing that, so she left it the way it was. But something she didn't feel the slightest bit bad about was letting Jax play around with a lit firework. In a video she posted online and then deleted, she called out to Jax and then lit a firework and then threw it down to him.
Jax!
When there was backlash about it, she spoke to TMZ and didn't think there was anything wrong with what she did.
Why go camping and take your dog with you and have him around the fire then? Why do people do that?
But the dog isn't, when you have a campfire, the dog isn't trying to bite the campfire. That's not the same thing as this. You know that the dog was trying to bite the fireworks.
What about America's Funniest Videos? What about the montage that I just retweeted of them? Other dogs that are sitting there chasing fireworks, just like my dog.
Oh, I wouldn't use America's Funniest Home Videos as your reference.
On Twitter, she apologized by saying, "I'm sorry my dog was having fun and wanted to spend time with the family. If anything, he was trying to protect us." But that wasn't the only bad thing Jax had to go through under Jenelle's care. She got into a relationship with a guy named Nathan Griffith, who she was drawn to initially because of his two pet huskies named Ren and Moogan.
Then I seen his dogs and I was like, oh, his dogs are so cute, and they're part wolf, part husky. So I messaged him, I said, your dogs are cute. And he
Thank you.
said, thank you. And then we started talking.
Jenelle and Nathan eventually moved in together with his dogs and Jax. But it wasn't long after she came into the picture that one of Nathan's huskies, Ren, was rehomed. And even though she initially liked the huskies, after a year she was ready to rehome Moogan as well.
Now I'll see how long I can put up with your dog for.
When I'm there, I can take care of the dog, okay?
Well, it's not even the dogs with an S, it's your dog.
Come here! Come on, go! Come on. Come on. Thank you. Come on. Come on. Moogan! Oh my God, I'm gonna get rid of you.
Concerns for Moogan's well-being were being raised online. A viewer of Teen Mum had taken a photo of Moogan outside tied to a tree in the rain. And on July 11th, 2015, the police were called in relation to potential animal neglect, and an officer did go and investigate. On an internal report, the officer said that the dog didn't appear to be neglected and had clean water and was clean. And while she was there observing the dog, she reported that she was approached by 2 women. Those 2 women were sisters Devon Ray Norman and Carrie Lynn Morris. The report stated that the women asked if they could take the dog, but the officer told them that if they did that, it would be stealing. The 2 sisters appeared to have left, and then the officer left a note on Jenelle and Nathan's door, notifying them that she had stopped by to look at the dog. Then a couple of hours after that, Nathan called the police saying that his dog was gone. Jenelle posted to social media saying that a Twitter hater had stolen her dog. The police knew what car Moogan was taken in, and he was later found in a home in North Carolina, and the 2 sisters were charged with felony larceny. Then, just under a month after stealing the dogs, the sisters' concerns for Moogan seemed to be justified. An episode of Teen Mum 2 aired that showed the dogs not living in the best situation. Nathan had to go to prison while Jenelle was pregnant, and looking after the 2 dogs was apparently too much to handle. Moogan's crate broke, so she decided to get new crates for both dogs, and while she was getting those, she put Moogan and Jax in a crate together.
Hey! Hey! Don't you dare, dude.
The worst it does get is when she's trying to transition the dogs into the new crates, and understandably, they do not want to be locked in a crate. She gets frustrated when Jax refuses to go inside the crate, and just gives up, and also sets Moogan free into the neighborhood.
Go, bye. You want to go too? Here, go ahead, bye. Not going to get him. Come here, Jax.
In the next episode, Moogan is back in her care, and she says she's trying to do better.
Nathan is still in jail. It's been really hard having the dogs on my own, especially since I'm pregnant, but I shouldn't have treated them badly. So now I'm trying to do a better job caring for them.
But between the 2 episodes, a lot of stuff went down. As you can imagine, there was a lot of backlash to Jenelle acting that way, which she responded to some of it on social media. She said the dogs were in the cage together for 30 minutes, and she said they were put in cages to begin with because they were being bad. Someone responded saying that because she's been behind bars so much, she should be more compassionate about cages. Peter even issued a letter to her urging her to rehome Jax and Moogan. Peter said she doesn't have the time nor patience to give them what they need, and they outlined a bunch of reasons why dogs shouldn't be crated for extended periods of time, and they offered to provide her dogs with immediate transport to the Spartanburg Humane Society to be rehomed. Jenelle did not take them up on that offer. Because of the outrage, MTV thought it was necessary for Jenelle to further explain her side of things. She spoke to MTV News about it, saying, "What I learned from this experience is that you always need to be 2 steps ahead. You need to have your dogs well trained, and they need to listen to you as owners." She also offered advice to other pet owners and said they should definitely make sure they can handle it. It's not as easy as it seems, and make sure to start out with 1 dog first, not 2. It really didn't seem like anything could quell the backlash that Jenelle was receiving, but with Nathan out of jail at that point, he decided to try and help make things easier for Jenelle. They got away from all of the outrage by going to Nathan's aunt's ranch in Ohio. They brought both the dogs, Jax and Moogan, on this trip, but when they left, they only had 1 dog with them, Jax. They left Moogan to live with Nathan's aunt on the ranch, and when news of that broke, Jenelle didn't know why she was being included in that news, considering she no longer had the dog and he was living in Ohio with horses who kicked him in the face. By May 2016, Moogan was back in Nathan's care, but he couldn't give him the kind of care that he needed. He made a post on Facebook putting him up for adoption. In the comments he said Moogan's good with all dogs except for large, unneutered male dogs. Jax is a large, unneutered male dog, so it makes a lot more sense why Moogan was chained up outside, and it also makes it a lot more concerning that Jenelle put Jax and Moogan in a crate together. But these dogs weren't the only animals struggling throughout this period of time. Jenelle also got a bunch of other animals that she promptly got rid of, like this parrot and the cat named Sky. She got another pit bull in 2016, which she also got rid of. She acquired and then got rid of a bunny in 2015 that I saw people online saying belonged to her friend Tori, but I messaged Tori to try and find out what happened to the bunny, and she replied saying that it was Jenelle's bunny that was rehomed. Oh, and Jenelle also got a guinea pig that also just disappeared. I did try and Google what happened to that guinea pig, but it ended up taking me down a path I didn't expect to go down. If you don't know, I have guinea pigs which I grow grass for and upload the process of that online. And Jenelle's partner, after Nathan, David Eason, commented on one of my guinea pig videos saying that guinea pigs are yum or something like that. And that made the news. But something that happened that was much bigger news was what happened to the French bulldog they got in 2018 that they named Nugget. Jenelle witnessed David do something pretty horrific to Nugget that resulted in Nugget's death.
During the attack, we're told David punched the dog with closed fists, threw it into a kitchen table, and beat the dog over the head, to the point where the dog was basically lifeless. Our source says David then threw the dog outside the house before returning and grabbing a shotgun and a pistol and going out to finish the dog. The event was so traumatic and intense that when David returned to the house, our source says he was covered in blood, but nobody said anything because they were afraid of the consequences for confronting him.
After David murdered Nugget, Jenelle fled to a friend's house and also unfollowed him on social media.
When the dog incident occurred, I was very upset and angry. I actually left my house for 3 days and I stayed with a friend.
And she confided with her friend about what happened. Then that friend told Nathan, who was the father to her son Kaiser and the owner to Moogan that I talked about earlier, and Nathan contacted the authorities about what he had heard. A police officer went to David's house, where he was there by himself, and he told the officer that Nugget was still alive, but he could not produce Nugget. News that David had potentially killed Nugget spread quickly, and so David attempted to defend any actions that may have happened. He didn't confirm or deny that he killed Nugget, but he posted a video of his and Jenelle's 2-year-old daughter, Ensley, being snapped at by Nugget, and he also accompanied it with a photo of a red mark on her face. He said, "I don't give a damn what animal bites my baby on the face. A dog is a dog, and I don't put up with that shit. Some people are worth killing or dying for, and my family means that much to me." Jenelle also made an Instagram post of her own saying, "Nugget, I'm crying every day. You're gone forever, and there's no coming back." After more concern grew, police returned to David's house, but that time it was to do a welfare check on Ensley, and at that point Jenelle had returned to live with David. She posted on her Instagram story that she was heartbroken and her marriage was up in the air, and she was only away from the home because she was still hurt and upset. Then all of a sudden, apparently Jenelle asked the police to drop the investigation to do with Nugget.
When they questioned Evans a day after the search, her account of the incident changed, and she said she no longer wanted to continue with the investigation. The statement reads in part, Jenelle stated that the reason she filed the animal cruelty report was for the publicity and because she did not know where her dog was.
Before any conclusion with Nugget had been made, MTV let Jenelle go.
And then he texted me and he said, the MTV crew and the producers want to talk to you. And I said, it's okay, you can talk to them. I think I already know what it's about. And he said, I'm sorry. And I said, they're letting me go, aren't they? And he said, yeah.
In the middle of all this drama, of course, we get fired.
Then police later showed up with a search warrant to try and find Nugget.
They said they had a warrant and they were going to search the house to try to find a missing dog. That's what they told me. And I was like, well, there's definitely no missing dog in my house. And they said, well, you know, we need to find your wife's dog. You need to tell us where it's at. And I was like, well, for one thing, if there was a dead dog, it was not going to be in my house. So when they asked me, where's the dog? Where's the dog? I was like, the dog was right there. I was talking about Jax.
But they used the way David acted during that encounter and the state of the house to have Jenelle's kids taken away from them. It wasn't long at all before CPS stepped in and took custody of the children away from Jenelle. Kaiser went to live with his father Nathan, and Ensley and Jace went to live with Jenelle's mother, their grandmother, Barbara. It wasn't until several months later that David and Jenelle confirmed that David killed Nugget. He did admit it to the police, but apparently he did nothing wrong.
He called me, I called him right back.
So, and then
I called him and told him, you know, basically what had happened. And he told me I didn't break any laws, so there's nothing that he could do.
And then over a year later, Jenelle put together a 6-part video series for her YouTube channel where she and David talked about the Nugget and the CPS situation that followed. David said Nugget was not loving towards the kids at all.
She was a loving dog to me, but she was not loving towards our kids at all. And I loved the dog. The kids loved it. But she didn't love the kid.
And he said that Nugget bit Ensley on the face more than once.
She bit Ensley on the face more than one time. And the first time it happened, we should have got rid of her.
So I guess even though they knew Nugget wasn't loving towards the kids, they allowed Ensley to come into close contact with a supposedly aggressive dog. So it really seems like it could have been prevented. And also on the heels of the Nugget situation, David eliminated another one of Jenelle's dogs, and that was the pit bull named Jax. They lived on some land and had rabbits, goats, chickens, and pigs, and were really giving the homesteading lifestyle a go. But a spanner was getting thrown in the works when Jax began killing some of their animals.
Yeah, well, hopefully Jack's not gonna eat any more of our chickens.
No.
Right, Rissa?
Mm-hmm.
He's a bad boy.
Yeah, he's a bad boy.
We're gonna get more chickens because Jax is a chicken man.
So instead of retaliating by killing Jax, David decided to rehome him.
And we actually recently just, we had to give our pit bull away recently because he killed one of our pigs.
Right.
So currently, we have no dog.
Jax was our pit bull that we had for a while. He started killing all of our farm animals, so we gave him to a friend.
My pit bull, Jax, he actually killed one of our pigs recently. So instead of David saying, well, I'm going to euthanize the dog, let's just give the dog away.
Surely building better cages or fences would have been an option as well. I'm glad Jax went to a place away from David and Jenelle, but I was shocked that Jax had been rehomed. To most people, a dog is a family member, and if I decided to start homesteading, but my dog was interfering with it, I would try and rework some things to make it work. But if it just couldn't work, I'd say screw the homesteading, I'm keeping my dog. I truly don't know how Jenelle thinks when it comes to getting dogs and other pets, because she continues to get more and continues to just get rid of them. 9 months after David killed Nugget, she got another dog named Rosey. This was a golden doodle that went missing at some point, and then when she supposedly returned, Jenelle's followers speculated that the dog that returned was not Rosey.
Is that this is not the same dog in any shape or form. In fact, this new dog that she's showing off isn't even a golden doodle the way that Rosey was. You know, just take a look at this video of the dog that she's claiming, you know, found its way back home.
Oh, look! It's a runaway dog. Rosey.
How weird was that video? On the left, you'll see the fake dog. It's got a brown nose and white hair on top of its head, which is something that Rosey did not have whatsoever. Rosey's nose is black, and you know, her hair on top of her head, yes, she has a little bit of lighter hair, but for the most part it is brown.
Jenelle did seem to debunk those claims though.
So if you haven't heard or not, yes, Rosey went missing and she came back. This is the day she came back. And this is the day she came back, and this is the day she came back. As you can see, her nose is pink, not black. And we gave her a fresh haircut and a bath as soon as she came home. We tried to make her look like a lion, but it didn't work out. Rosey's nose is pink, not black, because of a winter condition.
Rosey. Oh, Rosey. Oh, Rosey. Is that your name? Is that your name?
Much like all of her other animals, Rosey did end up vanishing. Jenelle did end up separating from David and had 2 of her dogs shipped to her new location. The 2 dogs were a Pomeranian and an Irish Doodle. Those 2 are the only animals she has currently, so I guess we'll wait and see if it stays that way. Anyways, that is everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and let's take a moment of silence for all of the animals that have been in Jenelle's care. And I will see you in my next video.